Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it.
Welcome to Orange Talk, a special edition of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. We're very happy to be joined today by the newest Houston Dynamo member, goalkeeper Jonathan Vaughn. Jonathan, how are things?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
How's Houston so far for you?
Really enjoying it, to be honest. I didn't know fully what to expect because the only time I had come to Houston before was obviously to play the Dynamo. So we didn't spend long in the city or see much. But moving here, we love like food and stuff. So just there's so many options straight away was one of the things that hit us. And there's really nice pockets of the city, and there's lots to explore and stuff to do. So I think my wife, my family in general, because my mum came over as well, we've all been really pleasantly surprised, and we feel really settled straight away.
What was it about this project? We saw you were at Watford. You've been in MLS before, but what was it about coming back to MLS and the Dynamo specifically?
Yeah, it was less about obviously coming back to MLS, more about coming to the Dynamo specifically. I think when I was playing at Galaxy, whenever we played the Dynamo, there was a clear change in the last couple of years that I was at Galaxy. So the last 3 years or so, and they were clearly becoming more competitive and going in the right direction. And when it wasn't something that was kind of on the radar, to be honest, it kind of came a little bit out of the blue. Obviously, I know there were some really unlucky injuries and things like that. So when we got the call from Pat, I got a good feeling straight away from speaking to him and Ben, just about the project and how ambitious they were and how enthusiastic they were, and it kind of matched kind of how I felt and what I wanted to buy into. So in the end, it was a little bit difficult to kind of make it happen mid-season for both of us, but I'm really glad that we managed to do it, and I'm very happy with settling here now.
Yeah, and you mentioned a little bit, but you start your career at Watford and have since played in both England and the US. How do you compare the MLS to Championship, I guess, in terms of intensity and playing style, Jonathan?
It's so different, honestly. It's really, really different. The styles are completely different. The profiles of players are completely different. All the way down to things like the conditions and the way the ball moves and the fields and stuff. So, they both have their pros and cons, right? Like the Championship is typically intense, physical. Everyone defensively, everyone is so like it's defense first, really, and everyone's pressing and it's very solid. The conditions can be difficult in a different way. Like you're dealing with the pitches aren't great, difficult to play, kind of like total football or anything like that. And then coming here, everything's really tactical. So like the coaches always know the game inside out. There's a lot of positional play. There's a lot of individual talent. And I think the pace of the game is a little bit slower, but more tactical, and players are thinking more. It's probably more skillful, and these kind of players can unlock a game, and there's lots of them on the field at one time. So the game can be a little bit frantic sometimes, I find, over here, and it just makes it probably more exciting and dynamic. So yeah, they are very different, but both obviously have their advantages and disadvantages for sure.
You mentioned it, some tough injuries for the Dynamo early in the season, but you came in as a veteran. Blake was here his first season, as a professional. What's it like kind of seeing Blake as a young guy and being in that leadership role as you are as a veteran?
Yeah, obviously I knew the situation with Andrew and Jimmy going down so quickly, and then Blake stepping in and just doing so well. I wanted to really respect that was his moment and his time. Obviously, with the long-term injury of Andrew, the club probably did need to bring someone in, but with Blake playing so well, I was happy to sort of just let him keep doing his thing. I think everyone wanted him to do well. Very popular player, and guy already in the change room. I know it's his first year here, and he's still obviously learning a lot. coming from college football to MLS. But I just think whoever's playing, and as much as I can give Blake some pointers, some advice, I will do so. But at the same time, I think he's done really well in the league games. Like I'm not going to over try and give him as much advice. You know, he's done really well himself. So anytime he asks for it, obviously I'll always. So will Jimmy as well. Jimmy and Tavo. We've got actually a really experienced goalkeeping group here, and obviously headed up by Tim, who's obviously also really experienced. So I think it's a really and whether Blake is playing, whether I'm playing, whether Jimmy's playing, I feel like it's a kind of group that will always support each other. And yeah, obviously the LA game, I wasn't here for long, so it was kind of a bit of a whirlwind. And then 1 week's training with everyone, and just wanted to kind of get off to a good solid start for myself against Colorado. I felt like I did that. It was a positive point in the end, but yeah, I think just going back to the goalkeeping situation, I feel whoever steps in and plays will be supported by everyone.
And you mentioned a little bit, obviously, your debut with the Dynamo against Colorado. How did it feel to step into the pitch in orange for the first time? Like you said, you visited before in the past with Galaxy.
Well, first of all, yeah, small things strike you straight away, like the stadium and the atmosphere and the fans and all these things before the game's actually kicked off. It's like, wow, this is really nice. You know, not a lot of or not all MLS environments are as nice as that, as good as that. So immediately I had a good feeling. And then yeah, it's difficult. It's a big change, obviously, from being in the environment of Championship and Watford, and then coming here and just sort of kind of it came back. Obviously, I know I spent 3 years here, so it's not completely alien to me. But yeah, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, that's right. You know, the things are a little bit different here, and yeah, it was just about for me just getting off to a solid start. And yeah, I'm just glad that we did manage to get that point at home. Obviously, we don't want to drop points at home, but being in the situation we were going towards the end of the game, I felt like not all teams would be able to come back and show character to make it 2-2.
Yeah, we hear a lot about how football or soccer is, a very story-driven thing, but it just so happens your first game, you come right back to the MLS and you get to go right back to Dignity Health Sports Park. First game against the Galaxy, you're on the bench. What was that like, kind of surreal, going back to where you had spent 3 years?
Yeah, it felt completely surreal. I mean, I was so jet lagged that I was just like, also the whole thing just felt like I was in a dream, almost a strange way. Not like a dream, but like it just felt surreal is the perfect word. And I was really thankful, to be honest. It meant a lot to me because I got a really good reception from everyone there. All the guys I used to work with, and then from the fans and stuff, and just to be back in that environment. It's strange. It was literally yesterday that I was there playing, and 3 years of my life. That's where I met my wife. That's where my son was born. So obviously, it will always kind of hold a special place in my heart. And yeah, crazy that the first game is to go back there. But yeah, to be honest, I think Blake actually went down like with 20 minutes ago. I was thinking, like, I'm doing well. I need a nap. Like, I'm not sure I'm 100%. But yeah, luckily he obviously finished the game. And again, that was another positive result away at the champions at the moment. So yeah, it was all good. It was a good experience. Like you said, a little bit surreal.
And you mentioned like the contrast between the leagues and spending the time that you did already in MLS. What lessons or experience from that time did you or do you think you can help you with in your time here in Houston, apart from maybe making sure your iPad is charged for those long travel days, huh?
Yeah, the travel is something else. But one thing I would say about the travel is obviously now we have charter flights. So, there's no flight really more than, I don't know, 3.5, 4 hours, something like that, or along those lines, unless you're going to the East Coast. And to be honest, like in England, we're a small country, everything's close together, but you don't fly anywhere, it's all by bus. And a bus is a lot more uncomfortable than like the plane we're flying on. And we're averaging 3, 4 hours on the bus, like sometimes 5 hours, 5.5 hours to get to games. So it's not all bad. Obviously, just the range of weather conditions. Like yeah, I've played Dallas away, Houston away, Austin away in the height of summer, and I know what it can be like. So from that point, from that standpoint, I'm prepared to a point. And yeah, just I think it definitely does help. Obviously, having played in the league before, understanding how things work and how, for example, like the coaches like to work and yeah, how the gym staff like to work. Just small things like that definitely help, I think.
Still early in the season for you guys. You come over here pretty early, but a lot of season left. I know the Dynamo haven't gotten off to the best start, but what are some goals for you guys, short term, long term for this season, and then for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, for us, obviously, it has to be playoffs. I think having seen the group now, we've got more than enough to do that. It's just kind of putting everyone together. We've had some late additions, like that's just how it is. We had some injuries and stuff. So, Linji coming back in. Obviously, myself been added late, and then we have some new signings as well that are kind of joining the group this week and next week. So I think it will. We've also got a lot of longer term injuries, or a few longer term injuries that have to come back. So we'll have a really strong squad, and it's just about for us. It's probably about growing into the season because there have been some changes to the team. Obviously, big players like Hector Herrera, for example, was here the last few years and probably had a big impact on how the team played. So just small things like that, you have to kind of figure out how we're going to compensate and how we're going to figure a new way. And I feel like it's been positive from what I've seen in these games. Obviously, we want to pick up wins instead of draws, which helps. But if you're talking about yeah, a target, obviously a group like us has to be aiming to get in the playoffs, 100%.
And you touched on it already, the unity in the goalkeeping group, but how connected, are you with your new teammates, especially in terms of building that chemistry in the back line, Jonathan?
Yeah, it's been easy, honestly. Everyone's very open, very easy going. Everyone's like even from day one, we're like not afraid to just kind of just tell each other like, I expect this or this, that, and the other, and there's very open communication between everyone. I think Ben's really demanding, and the coaching staff are really demanding. So it doesn't, and no one can hide or anything like that. Everyone's kind of got responsibility right the way through the team. So. Yeah, I feel like obviously these things do take time, a little bit of time to really kind of ingrain relationships the way you know exactly what each other are going to do on the pitch in the moment without even checking where they are, what they're doing, those things grow over time and playing games together. But from a social standpoint, yeah, everyone's really, really easy to get along with. It honestly is a really, really positive, good group. The spirit is really strong. It's probably one of our main strengths, I would say.
And now all eyes are on the rivalry match against Austin this weekend. What does the team have to do well to be successful Saturday night, uh, Jonathan?
I think keep doing what we've been doing the last few games. It's just been details where we've given a couple of goals away. For example, in the last game, obviously just like a penalty and then a giveaway, and then suddenly they've got two goals. But other than that, they didn't have loads of chances. And I think with our group and our talent, we'll always score goals. I think if we could just start keeping clean sheets, then we'll always have a good chance of picking up 3 points. But yeah, we're growing. We'll get there. I think we will get there. And like I just said, we've got players that are coming in and still getting to settle and know each other, like know each other. So yeah, I think as the season goes on, we'll get stronger. That's my feeling.
I guess just curiosity. Obviously, you left, you come back, and talking about Austin, obviously, Josh Wolf is one of the coaches here in Houston. Is that a little bit strange, or how is that helpful as well for this
Oh,
match?
cool. He gave us a lot of insight in the tactical talk today. To be honest, he gives us loads of insight for every game from what I've seen. But especially this one. And yeah, it's a really strong coaching staff. I mean, when you see someone who's obviously the head coach of Austin, I mean, the whole 3 years I was at Galaxy, he was the head coach at Austin. So to see someone like that as one of the assistant coaches here, it's just like it just shows how much strength and depth we've got in that department. It's a really strong coaching group, to be honest. So yeah, I think it's now on the players to implement kind of the instructions and the guidance they give us, really. And like you said, it's a rivalry game against Austin, so we all want to win, just as with any game. But this one just means that little bit more to the fans as well.
Before we let you go, we'll a couple of questions for you so Dynamo fans can maybe get to know you a little better. We were doing some research on you. We saw your mother is American. So did you spend any time in the US as a kid, or did you just come to MLS and that was your first experience?
No, I spent loads of time here. Yeah, every kind of summer holiday would always be split between. I have family in Spain and I have family in Seattle. So my mum's from Seattle, and my grandmother still lives there. My uncle still lives there. Cousins still live there. So as much as it's difficult now with what I do, like we only get a set amount of time off, kind of in the off season, and maybe I use that to go back home now to England or whatever. But growing up, used to spend a lot of time in America, and then even like before I came to Galaxy, every kind of if I went on holiday with friends and stuff, we would go to America a lot. So it wasn't like I just moved to Galaxy and that was my first taste of life over here. But yeah, I think obviously it does help with an American mother just to kind of prepare me for what life is like here really.
You spoke a little bit about the food, so I'm assuming you're a little bit of foodie, but now that you're in Houston, what are you most looking forward to exploring in the city, Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I went to for a Texas barbecue with my wife, and it was really good. Honestly, like I can't go there every day, obviously, because then I won't be able to move. But yeah, I mean, where have I been? I've been all kinds of. I haven't really been like out of the town, so like towards like Katy or like up north to like is it the Woodlands up there? And I haven't kind of explored that far out, but around the town, I would like to go to like a Rockets game. I would like to go to a Houston Texans game and experience these things. I didn't experience that as much as I would have liked when I was in LA, to be honest, but.
Hmm.
I would like to go there. My son's a little bit young to know what's good. Well, he's definitely young. He's literally 16 months old, so he has no
Yeah.
idea. But if he was like 3 or 4, it might be fun, to go with him. Makes it a bit more difficult. But at the moment, I'm kind of, yeah, with my son that age, I'm looking for just small splash pads and,
Yeah.
to go for walks in. That's kind of where my focus is right now. And then just for dinners with my wife, that's kind of where my focus is, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of great parks for sure, and you just missed the rodeo. So you'll have next year for that.
It's only once a year?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's in like March.
Okay.
Jack, they did a little video with Jack. He'll have to show you around. He's like an expert now.
Yeah. Okay. I went to Memorial Park, which was nice, but it's hot to walk around in for like
Yeah,
a
it's only gonna get worse. We're
uh,
only in April.
and then today I'm gonna try and go to Herman Park. Is
That's
that
a nice one, yeah, over by the zoo. Yeah, the zoo and the
yeah,
museums are there. That's a good spot.
yeah, museums and I think there's like a splash pad or something to go with my son.
Yep.
Uh yeah, so that's kind of where I'm looking right now.
So you mentioned it a little bit, but hanging out with your son, I'm sure takes up most of your time. But what other things does Jonathan Bond like to do off the pitch?
That's a good question. I've been asked this question before, and it's not so boring. So I don't know. Honestly, I love soccer. I love football. That is my life. Like whenever there's a game on, I'm watching it. I'm playing it. But other than that, I mean, I can't. I just almost can't remember life before my son now because he's just takes up so much energy and attention. But yeah, it would always be to go for a coffee. It would always be to go for food. It would just be to go chill somewhere.
I'm sure
Uh,
you've tried Eric's coffee, right? Eric's the
yeah,
big coffee guy, right?
he's the coffee guy. Yeah, he's already made me one here at the training
Did
ground.
you
Yeah,
give him a good rating?
yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, I know he loves those ratings.
This is obviously a thing I didn't know about, but he was like, "What rating do you give it?" I was like, "I don't know, Eric. Like, out of what?" He's like 10. I was like, yeah, it's 10.
Hey, well, lastly, Jonathan, thanks again for joining us. But any words you may have for the Houston Dynamo fans, for especially for this weekend, heading into this weekend?
First of all, thank you for the really warm welcome. I felt when I was playing, I had your support. I know you obviously you want to support the team as much as possible. And thank you for staying till literally the last minute because it helped us get that equaliser. And then looking ahead, we're going to obviously put everything into the game and try and get that W against Austin. And yeah, I think we want to dominate those rivalry games and this yeah, and dominate kind of the Texas kind of derbies basically. And I feel like once you do that, it's kind of you're taking care of your own house, and then you can start to look elsewhere for extra points.
He's Houston Dynamo goalkeeper Jonathan Bond. Jonathan, we really appreciate the time. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you guys. Good to meet you. Cheers.